Hey guys, welcome to Swampy Acres Farm. New tractor day. We got a special guest here to go over the tractor with you today, so stick around. Hey Ben.
How we doing?
Good. You want to tell the guys about this tractor and what you guys thought of why I should buy this model tractor?
Well, hands down with the size farm you're running here, there's no questions asked. You definitely want to go with our utility series. And the 754 is just an absolute workhorse and non-emissions. So it's just a win-win for farmers. It's tough enough to make money on a farm besides waiting 45 minutes to a machine to regen and everything else. So these things are, pretty problematic free and just an absolute beast of a workhorse for everything you need to do for your day-to-day farm business.
Do you think it's going to have enough horsepower to do what I'm doing?
Oh, you're gonna like this one.
All right.
Yeah.
I do like the fuel tank down low. I don't have to carry a gas can up on the hood and spill it everywhere.
Yeah, TYM, they specialize really in keeping machines work. They don't overcomplicate their machines. They're designed to work. There's a lot of creature comforts in here to keep the operator comfortable for, farming's a sun up till sundown, sometimes after sundown type of operations. So the last thing you want to have to be dealing with is complicated electronics and even little things like getting fuel into the machine. And no DEF on this machine either. So you're not messing around that. It's New England, it's cold. You don't have to worry about your DEF slushing up for you and everything else that comes along with it and causing the calamities that everybody's dealing with now on every truck and piece of equipment that calls for it. So, and it's a big tank too. This thing holds almost 25 gallons of fuel. So you're gonna run day and a half, no problem. Even out haying, where you've got the PTO wound for sound and you're out, doing all your haying and tedding and baling, you're not worrying about having to stop midday to put more fuel in it. It's designed to run the entire day. So, and that's really one of the things that TYM excels at. It's just dependability, workability, keep the machines in the field, put them to sleep, get up the next morning, do it again.
Now, what has it got for a motor in this
So this
thing?
has the Deutz. So this is going to be, it's a 74 horsepower Deutz. And emphasis on the 74 because if we hit 75, then we got to put that naughty DEF fluid into it, which nobody likes that. Deutz is legendary engineering. I mean, they just.
Well, you do like, no, I like my Deutz motors.
You sure do. We won't discuss the other machine you have on the I but you've got.
Well,
this
I got
one,
red
so,
and green, just different brands.
Yeah, you got a little Christmas tree.
That's right
here. So, but yeah, no, Deutz is one of the names in diesels. Legendary dependability, and also parts. They don't overcomplicate them. Easy to get parts for, filters, etc. And they're not wrench hogs either. So they're designed to just do your basic maintenance on them and keep them working.
What about in the cab? 240 6.2. Is it pretty roomy for somebody like me?
Very roomy. Yeah, big room. In fact, come on in. I'll jump around the other side here.
It's got like 2 feet of headroom.
Yeah. So even somebody of your size, you're going to have a ton of headspace in here, and even if you do happen to get a giraffe, there is a port that'll open there. But I don't think any of us are playing starting forward for the Celtics, so we're going to be okay in that department. But going back to some of the creature comforts, it's a full adjustable spring, cushion seat, adjustability for the ride, for the operator, armrest. Obviously, heat and air conditioning is important. Heat this time of year is a huge thing, and in the summer having an air conditioned, and these cabs also run a bit of a positive on them. So not a matter of if, but when you do run over a ground wasp nest, you can just sit and let them peck away at the cab until you get out of harm's reach. And also for people, you know, you're breathing dust all day and chaff and so forth, so it actually keeps you in a little bit better conditions for the operator than, you know, years ago when you were just in an open cab machine and whatever Mother Nature wanted to throw at you, that's what you had to take.
All right, Ben, tell us about the cab.
All right, so with the cab, just starting from functionality, as we previously discussed, it's a good size cab. So when you're out here all day, there's plenty of cup holders, places to put, you know, even lunch boxes. There's a coat rack, so depending upon the season you're out here, you can hang things up. There's a lot of folks, depending upon what you're doing, you're in the cab for a good considerable amount of time. Functionality, unbelievable functionality on these tractors. That's what they're designed to do. So this one happens to be a power shuttle, which in my opinion is well worth the return on investment. It's negligible, the cost difference between a power shuttle and a straight shuttle, and the basic difference for folks that are unaware. So machines of this size and bigger, they're almost always going to be a geared machine. You hardly ever get a hydrostat. There's just too much power bleed at this size. So with a power shuttle, it basically eliminates the need to continuously clutch it. So you're clutching it to go between gears, but as far as forward and reverse, this machine has 3 speed ranges, high, medium, and low, and then four gears. So you have 12 total speeds, and that's 12 total speeds in reverse and forward. So if you're out doing some loader work in the yard or cleaning up animal pens or so forth, you're not shifting between forward and reverse and finding the right gear. You're just literally toggling forward, toggling back, and you're not running the clutch continuously. So from a convenience standpoint, you know, when you're out for many, many hours, and also safety when you're navigating around the farm or your property, it's gives you almost as finite a control as you would with a hydrostat, but without any of the issues that you run into with machines of this size with hydrostatic. So on top of the speed ranges, this machine is also equipped with a creep mode, and that's not, you know, don't run away with what creep mode means. For those who aren't aware of what that is it puts it into an ultra low speed. So if you happen to be doing any work with forks, pallets, moving big heavy round bales, and just really have to do some finite control, you can lock this into creep mode. And also loading and unloading trailers, I mean, you can, it moves at an incredibly slow rate of speed, so you can dial it in and control what the job at hand is, which is great. Full tilt steering, you know, again, I'm certainly not, I mean, I couldn't even play point guard for the Celtics, much less power forward. So it's got room enough for people of my shorter stature as well as your 6'2" frame to get in here, and everybody in between. This tractor we have set up with a third function. What the third function is going to do is it's going to allow the operator or the owner of the machine to really expand their horizons for what they can do by putting those hydraulics out on the front. So now you're going to have access to plows, bale grabbers, grapples. You know, there's a host of different machines. Lane sharks now are becoming more and more popular for folks that are using machines like this out to do trail
Probably
control.
put my post hole digger on it too, because the skid steer gets a little stuck.
Yeah. No, skid steers do not like this type of terrain. So yeah, post hole diggers. The front of the tractor is equipped with a standard skid steer quick attach setup. So that's going to be advantageous for any number of implements. As far as throttles go, so you have your traditional foot pedal throttle plus your hand throttle. So depending upon what you happen to be doing at the moment, probably 90% of the time most folks are going to be right into the hand throttle.
It's pretty rough around here, so we almost always run the hand throttle.
Yeah,
because you just bounce on the throttle
you'll be
pedal.
Bouncing around. With your power shuttle, you also have a dial here that dials in the sensitivity control on this. So what that does is this machine has a dual stage wet clutch, and this controls obviously forward and reverse. This right here, depending upon more or less, is going to control the sensitivity and speed at which this engages and disengages. So again, depending upon what you're doing, you might want it to have a little bit of softer touch, or if you're just, you know, loading a lot of materials, you just want it to be quick, and so you can dial that in that aspect. PTO, this machine comes equipped, you know, you've got your 540 plus 750 and 1100 PTO, so it's going to run pretty much any and all PTO implements that every farm requires. Another nice feature that's on the TYMs is if you focus in on here, you'll see the PTO switch has the center for off, and then manual and auto. Manual, when you have this engaged, your selector over here for the proper speed range that you want it in, and then press this button, it's going to run traditional, which means that when those buttons are in play, it's up and running. With the auto feature, if you spin it to that, what that's going to do now is that when the implement is dropped below halfway, it'll engage, and when it's retracted above, it'll disengage. That's particularly handy if you're doing like rotilling or you know, snow blowers. It's really popular anywhere where you're kind of going in rows, or you have the ability to stop it quickly by just simply retracting it up and out of the way. And then of course, if you're running your brush hog or mower, you know, it's New England, we have no shortage of hills where you need it to still be able to mow in an upright position, then you just run it on the manual. So gives you that versatility. This machine, the 4-wheel drive, is electronic, so simply push your button and it's in 4-wheel drive, push it again, it's out. So there's no wrangling with you know, mechanisms. And what that does is, by keeping a lot of things up in here, the amount of foot room in here is pretty incredible. And also, like, it's a great spot when you're out for the day. You can put your lunchbox right there, or, you know, bring whatever you need with you so that you don't have to you know, stop, unless of course you want to.
What about some creature comforts in this thing?
Creature comforts between the armrests, of course. You can dial this machine in to just about any body size, forward or back. This adjustment right here, you can toggle it left or right to adjust how much tension is going to be on the seat. So also for people that are a little bit shorter, if you tighten that up, it's also going to adjust your ride height, so you can get it to where it's a comfortable level for you to you know, to be in the seat all day. Machine comes equipped with full heat and air conditioning, plus it's got this hatch right here, which is great, you know, for many months of the year where, you know, it's not necessarily too hot or too cold. It's great to get some air on you. All 3 rear windows open, so we can pop open these hatches, as well as the rear window here. So nice spring day or a nice fall day, and you just want to get some fresh air on you. These are great also for communication with people. You know, if you're in the middle of hooking up implements and you have somebody out there, you can communicate. And then I'll jump out now and I'll come down for here. But TYM equips their 3-point connections so you can control them from the exterior, because 90% of the time we're working alone. So this is great when you're going to hook up to an implement. You can control your 3-point linkage right from here, from the exterior. Especially with a cab of this size, it's nearly impossible to reach without having to jump around. So on top of that, this is a category 2 3-point hitch, telescoping link, so when you go to hook onto an implement, you can loosen both of these, and there's just a couple of pins right here. And then there is a turnbuckle here, so you can adjust that accordingly, depending upon what you need, and there's multiple pin sets in there. Both links on these, where it's a Cat 2, are adjustable, which makes it really handy for, traditionally only the right one is adjustable. These both are, so depending upon if you're running a crown in a road, or sometimes you just want to dial in the height on the implement a little better, you have that flexibility to operate both of these. So down is locked in, up like that, and then you just simply turn it to accordion in and out like a turnbuckle, and then set it down to lock, and gravity keeps it in place. No pins to lose, which is great. And then once the implement's hooked up, these will just lock back in place and you're off and running. Obviously PTO is going to get used heavily on this farm, I know, and most farms. So this is probably one of the only times this cap will be on this tractor is for transport, because I have a sneaking suspicion that'll come off and probably just live in the barn somewhere. But that's all ready to roll. 2 sets of rear remotes on here, and it is expandable if you ever needed it to add a 3rd set, depending upon what you know, implements you have behind it. But castings, the size of the axles, all cast iron, heavy duty axles on these. They are, again, designed to work. 100% just designed to live in a field, live on the farm, do their thing, and not complicate the already complicated farming life.
I've noticed this machine has a lot of ground clearance.
Yes. Yep. Mud season's coming. You may find that.
You do know the name of the farm, right?
Yes. Swampy Acres Farm. You may need every ounce of that ground clearance at some point. Hopefully not, but it's there when you need it.
It looks like we got our filter right there.
Correct.
Pretty easy to get to, it looks like.
Maintenance on these machines is real straightforward and easy. They're designed, you know, for easy access to all your filters. Even the hood access under these is quite simple. I'm just going to drop this down a little bit.
Self-leveling too.
It is. Yeah, self-leveling loaders. Extremely handy. So to open your hood on these, there's two levers right here. Just loosen those. This will slide forward. I'm kind of on the wrong side, but right here is your hatch. Then it's all on gas strut, so you don't have any prop rods or anything that you have to contend with.
I like the battery in the front. I've had a few machines with dead
Yes.
batteries and they're buried in the compartment and you can't get to them.
Every machine at some point will have a dead battery, be it from the cold or just be it from attrition after, you know, I mean, batteries now, if you can get 3-4 years out of them, I think you're doing pretty well. But air filters, everything's right in the front. So for most of your daily walk around and or just general maintenance, it's very easily accessible. These panels over here are pretty readily removable should you ever need to get into them for any in-depth repairs on the machine itself. And over on this side, you'll see where your oil filter is at. And where they put that's extremely easy to get at. I mean, you don't need to move any of this to change your oil filter. Just pop it off. And they did a good job too. Some tractors, when you remove these, you know, it's above a lot of things. This, you can just put your catch pan under there, and really any residual oil is just going to hit this framework there.
Minimal amount of mess.
Exactly. Yeah, just wipe it off and off you go. So you don't even need to pop the hood to do your daily check on this. Your oil dipstick's right there. So you can literally just come right over, pop your dipstick, and not ever have to open the hood. So, and they also, you know, it's pretty well thought out, putting it on the same side as typically you're going to be entering the tractor and fueling it. So you can be doing all of the above, check your oil, jump in, go to work. So.
All right, now another question. What are lift capabilities front and back on this thing?
So they're almost identical as far as their lift capacities, as far as the stated capacity. So this loader to full height at the pins, and the pins are measured as essentially, think of it as back here, or a fully heaped bucket. It's about 3,300 pounds is what this is rated for to the pins, to full height. Its actual breakout force is significantly more, so there's a little bit of prorata going on in there as far as what you're picking up and how high you're going to get it, and also how far out in front of you are. So if you're running forks, and you say you've got a 48-inch fork, you know, always keep in mind of having, say, something palletized. The further away from the tractor, it's putting a little more leverage on it, and it's going to drop down your lift capacity. But in general, what we find with most of the TYMs is that their stated lift capacity seems to be under. We've done some tests like with the 2515, where we put an actual meter on it. TYM states its lift capacity at 2,200 pounds, and we got it to 2,500 pounds. So we've never run an actual test on this, but I suspect nearly every model we've tested always supersedes that. But generally speaking, the tractor is going to tell you when it's had enough. So.
And it has the universal skid steer quick connects.
Yeah, these are super simple. So to pop them out, you just release both those levers. Pop these out, back out and curl out, go over, pick up whatever implement you need. And then I think hopefully we didn't, yeah, we might have rolled out when I stepped on it. That's no big deal.
That's all right. We'll get to pick it up
We'll
anyways.
fix that when we get back out. This one might still be there. Yeah, I know it rolled a little bit. All you do is just pick your bucket back up. Those will lock right down, and then you're off to the next implement. Third function, the Pioneer couplers. Easily changeable. A lot of folks might have skid steer attachments too.
I'm probably going to switch to skid steer attachments because
Yeah.
everything runs on the skid steers.
Yeah, it's very, very simple to flip those over to the flat front so that you can run your current stable of implements.
The grapple, postal digger.
Yeah, yeah. So those are real easy to switch over. Greasing, you know, it's a daily necessity. TYM does a good job of not hiding any of the grease points. They also do a really good job of shrouding them. So these machines are going to be going through God only knows what sort of conditions, trees, etc. So you're at very low risk to break off all the zerks. And just keep it greased.
All right. Well, hopefully that demonstration of what this tractor has works for you guys. Check it out. You can always catch up with Ben here, SR1 in Loudon.
Yeah, come on.
Real great salesman. He's not paying me to say that. I'm just saying it.
We traded. There was a little barter, but no cash was exchanged in this
All right, good,
transaction.
good.
So.
All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by.